Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we are going to be looking at the daily technical analysis update of crude oil. We'll take a look. I'm going to blow through this, give you an update, and let's jump in and start going. So here's the crude oil. Again, we are sitting on top of a pattern. This looks to me like it wants to go higher. I do know that looks like they released some information about more releases from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. They are getting desperate. They are releasing everything they got from inventory, and this is going to get real interesting here at some point soon, because they're having less and less of an effect on the pricing of crude oil, almost as if the market thinks that we are going to have some sort of crisis, so prices are remaining elevated. Natural gas heading up a little bit. We'll see where this thing goes, guys. This has had a monster move, and it's been rocketing higher ever since its breakout. Could we hit something way up there? Yeah, this thing could go quite a bit higher, and I'm just sitting in the shares. XOP, yeah, you know me. It's looking good. It's looking good. We are sitting on top of this little trend line I drew in there. We're sitting on top of it. Still looks good to go. SM is getting that little bloody nose. It's a small little down day, usually a continuation pattern to the upside. So that's looking good. CDEV, another one that's got a small down day next to an up day. And I agree, I think down here looks good for CDEV. It's had a little bit of a pullback. Could we pull back a little bit more? Maybe. And if we do, it'd be an excellent buying opportunity. Crude Energy moving higher. Wow, that one is looking good. It's looking good. CPE moving sideways, still looking good from my perspective for Callon Petroleum. This was when they released the reserves, and that was the 0.5% rate hike day too. That kind of blew this all down. But this looks like it's recovering, and it looks like it wants to go and head higher. Athabasca Oil looking good. It's above support lines, just moving sideways at the moment, waiting for oil to take off. The price of oil. Recaf still looking good down here, just moving sideways. Yeah, it pulled back a little bit. I think we're getting close to the end of this pullback, and hopefully we head on higher. CPG breaking out to the upside, looking fantastic. This looks like it might run at some point, so long that oil kind of moves with it. And Northern Oil and Gas looking like it's poised to try to do something here at some point. If oil moves higher, I think these guys are all positioned quite well. GTE up against support, this long-term support line. So that's looking good for a potential move higher at some point whenever oil decides to get its butt into gear and they decide to stop releasing strategic petroleum reserves. Whenever they run out, I guess. Tellurian moving sideways, still looking okay. Pedevco, just a down day today. Oasis, small down day. This is a bloody nose, ready to go higher. CRK moving on up today, up 1.6%. Sandridge moving on up. This is getting to 52-week highs. Sandridge looking quite strong. Ring Energy moving sideways on support. That looks good. Surge Energy also moving sideways, looking good. We've got Tamarack Valley putting in a bullish engulfing. That looks like it wants to go higher. Crescent Energy moving sideways. Vermilion Energy moving sideways in this channel. And then we've got a move higher in Meg Energy. We've got OIH looking good, getting a little bit of an update today. I do think this will eventually work its way on up. Energy Services will get a flood of money at some point into this sector. TTI is already starting to take off. This thing looks fantastic from a long-term perspective. That's Tetra Technologies. Rig playing with its downtrend line. Again, it still hasn't broken out yet. We've got Pump getting pumped up. Coming on down. Again, getting a little bit of buying pressure. We might have a little bit more in this pullback because we've got some pretty large down days through here. And we haven't pulled back too much. But it's looking okay. EXTN, a little bit of an up day. Bullish piercing type pattern. We've got Valaris, just a little bit of a down day, still looks fine. MMA Offshore moving sideways with a little bit of a down day. I could pull back a little bit. Tidewater moving on up today, still in this massive move on up. Again, I would just be sitting in these companies, not doing a thing. NEX coming on higher, looking good. KLXE, this looks good to me. Big buying pressure, small selling pressure, and it's very constrained or tight. That's usually a good signal for a move higher eventually. CHX moving sideways in this squeezing up pattern, squeezing up a little bit. Cactus Energy, another one that's just moving sideways. 9, moving sideways, squeezing up. OII bouncing off support. We've got Noble Energy just moving sideways there. Helix Energy Solutions moving sideways. CGGYY moving on up a little bit. Petrofac moving sideways, still looking okay. We've got Diamond Offshore Drilling, small down day today. Again, it's nothing really to worry about. But again, guys, like I'm going to just kind of reiterate, like crude oil looks good. Natural gas looks really good. And we'll see if that goes up, guys. Again, this is my whole goal when I look at all this. This is, I'm going to back up and kind of just describe how I invest, guys, because I've been doing a lot of these daily analysis. A lot of people want me to do them. But when I look at this natural gas chart here, right, this is what you want to see. I look at the ratios, and let's just look at the ratios here. So this is crude oil to natural gas ratio. And this ratio, when it gets cheap, it was very cheap in this time frame there. And it was all the way up at 50 in 2012. That's pretty ridiculous. But anything above 20 is really, really cheap. So anything in this general vicinity is cheap for natural gas. And you can look, and there were some cheap spots for natural gas, and here recently. We are now down to 12, which it's not expensive or cheap. It's kind of like average over time. And you might see this compress quite a bit down to maybe even a level that is very, very cheap, maybe even like 3 eventually, because the properties of natural gas and the markets could split a little bit. Split being crude oil and natural gas, because they've already done that in Europe. They've already done it in other areas. And that's why I'm thinking that you might see a little bit more expensive natural gas in relationship to crude oil for certain periods of time, because it's already split in other areas. And when I look at this, when I look at these charts, guys, I just look at the big trend, okay? And this is how I do it. When you break this right here, you go long and you just stay long. You stay long. And if you can identify the ratio, you can try to get it down here or down here. Because if you can identify it the earlier, where you have the ratio that's at super cheap valuations, you go long and you just stay long the entire time. It's so long that the market conditions are good. Now, in this type of environment, trying to predict short-term movements, like getting this movement, doesn't really matter to me. I don't care. If I bought down here in September of 2020 and October of 2020, why would I care if I get a pullback here? Doesn't matter. Stay long, stay long, stay long, stay long the entire time. There's no point for me to be trading in and out. And I know everybody wants to try to do this trading. They want to time the market. They can't handle the pullbacks. They can't do this. Guys, just go long. Don't worry about it. Like, just stay in it, stick in it for a while. Because we are in an energy crisis, and the way to make money isn't trying to figure out the short-term little movements. And I mean, this does look good here, and yeah, we could pull back, we could go forward. In the short term, I have not seen anyone who's that successful make a lot of money on a statistical basis of a 60% odds. It's slightly in your favor, but humans usually find a way to mess that favor up anyway. With not sticking to strict rules and all this other junk. And you know what? I don't even know if it matters, because you don't make that much money, in my opinion. So find the big trend. Find companies that are sitting on support lines. You get in there, you get aggressive, you buy some shares, and even if it bounces up and down on you, just stay long in a bull market. Don't trade in and out, just stay long and ride it. That's what I've learned over all these years. Just stay long. Don't worry about it. If you're down some, cost average in. That's all I do. That's all I do. Literally, that's all I do. And there's some portfolios I've turned quite large. There's some that were, and I'll just give out some valuations. A few years ago, they were like 30 grand. And now they're up around 150 grand. And that's over 2.5 year period. That's a pretty dang good return. and I haven't touched anything. I've just kind of put in there. Now, it highly depends on the companies that you select. A lot of those returns were from very large oil returns in the past 2.5 years. They're also from uranium companies. I do have some precious metals. They brought the return down a little bit. They did well in the beginning, and then they kind of lagging here. But I've just left it. I haven't done anything to it. I'm going to ride those companies for the entirety of the bull market. I haven't added a single dollar to that account either. So it's just about riding these things. It's not about trying to time things necessarily. And it's not necessarily time in the market. You have to be in at the right time. The right time here now is to go long in energy for sure, in commodities and energy, because we have an energy crisis. I don't think that the housing market's going to slow down either. So the conditions, the market conditions are all there to do well. So that's my opinion there. I know it's kind of more than just technical analysis, but if you guys like the analysis, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the website, the Platinum membership. The link is below. You can go there if you want to see what's going on. And if you want to support me, if you think you've learned a lot, and you want to support me, that's another way to support me. We will have more question and answer sessions coming up. I may change the time that I'm holding it. I got to figure out what time's going to work. I will be I will be traveling a little bit next week, so it may impact some things that I have to shift around. So just letting you know. But that's what I've got. Hopefully you guys are having a good day. We'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.